What was your biggest takeaway when you first heard that the suspension has been reduced by 6 games, now down to 4?
Well, it's amazing and seems to be a rebuke of Roger Goodell's initial punishment. To have this penalty reduced by Harold Henderson, somebody who is perceived by the players and the players' union as somebody who is typically rubber-stamped NFL front office decisions on issues like this regarding discipline, this is a substantial change. Now, is it enough to satisfy Greg Hardy? That remains to be seen because, as you know, Linda, I was told earlier this week, according to people close to Greg Hardy, that anything more than a 2-game suspension, then he would file a lawsuit and try to get it reduced to that or eliminate it altogether, because the feeling was, ultimately, in court, he was not convicted. The case was dismissed, although the witness would not appear, the alleged victim would not appear, and allegations were made that he had reached a financial settlement with her to prevent her from testifying. And ultimately, also, there was a contention about the fact that the alleged incident took place under the previous personal conduct penalty or policy that allowed for a 2-game suspension rather than the current one, which allows for a minimum 6-game suspension.
So do you think Harold Henderson, in his move to reduce it to 4, as opposed to what some people thought was going to be 6, is a reaction to the over-discipline of Greg Hardy? Well,
we've seen federal court judges rule against the NFL in the Ray Rice and Adrian Peterson situations. I think the NFL has decided, I mean, the common theory around the NFL is the league's policy now is basically to overpunish and force these players to go to federal court to get them reduced so that at least they can say to their fans and their sponsors,
right,
we've done everything we can do. We've been forced to allow these players to return under these circumstances. And, you know, keep in mind that before this decision, the Cowboys were looking at having Greg Hardy for 6 games. Now they're guaranteed having him for at least twice that many games. They don't have a good pass rush. In the last 3 years, only Atlanta and one other team, the Raiders, have fewer sacks than the Cowboys. This guy is a proven pass rusher. He's going to make a substantial difference on their defense as they try to go all in and win a Super Bowl with Tony Romo. And Jerry Jones made a apparently brilliant gamble when he went out and signed him before he knew what the penalty ultimately was going to be.